Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 92 of Come Lose It with Matt Duncan. Got a lot to talk about. Finally, we've made some headway with the fitness portion of this podcast, the health portion, the diet portion of this podcast. And I know I didn't get 2 in January. That's not the kind of start to the year that I wanted, but I figured I was going to do it at the end of the month, and then I thought, I'm so close to being done this 3-week intro to the intermittent fasting world. Why don't I just wait until I'm done so I can recap the whole thing with a full thought, you know? So I've waited, and I finished the 3 weeks, and it was an up and down time, but we'll get to that. We will get to that in the fitness update because there's all kinds of opening turd stuff to talk about. A lot of shit has been going down over the last week. A lot of ridiculous stuff as always, like the great Chinese balloon, the weather balloon that first appeared over Canada and then floated its way down to the States and then became a real topic of concern for Americans because I don't know what it is about surveillance, but they really don't understand how it works. And yes, maybe this was just a Chinese weather balloon. Maybe it was a spy balloon. Maybe they were taking pictures of other things, targets. Who knows, right? That's a little deeper in the wormhole. But China doesn't need to have one stupid balloon going over their country to get intel. They've got many other means. They don't even have to be sneaky about it. One of the biggest apps in America right now, one of the most popular apps, more popular than Twitter, than Facebook, is TikTok. And TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. They get all the data that they fucking need from that. They don't need a fucking weather balloon going over parts of the Midwest that they can't get from all the people down on the ground making dumb videos, shitting, farting. Like, everyone's got their own thing that they do. And yeah, it's intoxicating. Some of the stuff, you just can't get enough of it. And I've never, as I've said before, the addiction of that stuff is crazy. It's very overwhelming. Sometimes I get stuck in a real wormhole and I can't help it. I can't get out. But the Chinese balloon, that's like think of that more of a decoy than anything. You just play duck hunt with that fucking thing. That's about as much information as they're going to get from that. What the fuck else could they really get? Is it weather? Give me a break. Give me a break. Chinese balloon. And I love this like doomsday clock thing. It's like, oh, they're updating the doomsday clock. It's such a dumb like gimmick to pontificate about the end of the world. Getting closer to midnight. Oh, the war, nuclear war, Russia, climate change. Oh, the clock's ticking, guys. What's going to happen? Will there be a time where they're like, we're at midnight? If the world goes to shit and there's fucking like the fungal Last of Us shit's going, everyone thinks that there's going to be the fungal zombies is coming. That shit happens. Is someone going to be running their ass to that doomsday clock to fucking calibrate it, broadcast that it's at midnight? Just in case you haven't heard, it's midnight. What do you do then? What do you do then? Okay, we're at midnight. What? We're fucked. I guess you just can't do anything. Some random acts of kindness have happened, and I don't really know how I feel about it. A neighbor during one of the heavy snowfalls that we've had in the last couple weeks, somebody plowed our driveway, and I don't know who the fuck did. And I guess I sleep so long that not only was I not awake to hear it or see it, it was completely done. And I don't know why, because we're not friends with any of the neighbors here. We're not chummy. We don't have that kind of relationship where someone likes us enough to help out. My only thing that I can think about is that maybe the next door neighbor blew a bunch of snow onto our driveway and felt bad. Because I don't, what am I supposed to do with this? We have a snowblower. We're always out there snowblowing. It's not like we just drive through mounds of snow. And then to not give me a nod I have no idea who did it. I really don't know. I've got no idea why. No one's approached us about it. It's just been done. And let me tell you something, living in the suburbs now for the few years that I have, it's a fucked up thing to do. It's a fucked up thing to do. Now, look, I've made a big purchase, my biggest purchase that I've made in many, many a year. I haven't actually bought my own computer. My current one that I'm using right now to record this podcast through my mixer, it's 11 years old. It's an 11-year-old MacBook Pro from the year of the Mayan calendar 2012. The devastation of 2012. I thought it was going to be my last one. I was like, well, we're going to need this when we're on the road. Fucking Mayan calendars run out. Going to need this new MacBook Pro with a CD drive in it. It has a DVD drive in it. It's just so hilarious and clunky, and it still works. But the problem is that I can't update it. There's a lot of stuff that I can't use. Even like browsers now aren't updating because I don't have the right software on it. And I'm a tech guy, and I like to keep shit updated. I don't fuck around with that. Phone's always updated. Technology gets updated for security reasons, especially with Macs who don't really have an antivirus thing. So you got to at least get those security updates. So I'm very, very careful with how I use the internet on this computer the last few years. That is for sure. VPNs don't work on it anymore. It's really going to just turn into like a karaoke machine for me now because it still works well enough. And I don't want to have to transfer all that stuff over. I don't know if I can. The program that I used, and the guy's just been taking forever to get it updated to 64-bit or whatever. So I think, I'm going to keep some stuff off. I don't think I need to put all my old music that I've had on my iTunes for I don't know how many years, decades, onto the new computer. Maybe some of it I will. I'll transfer the Beatles. I've got their whole collection. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I've also heard that MP3s degrade. I didn't realize that they over time will degrade and just start to sound more and more like shit. And like Spotify has to keep refreshing these MP3s so that they don't get all fucked up and start to sound like crap. This shit that Neil Young was concerned about when he started Pono or whatever, he wasn't wrong. We all thought that because it's not a hard copy, that it's this digital thing, that it can't get fucked up. But apparently MP3s over time do get fucked up. And I went back in my iTunes and I picked out some songs from some shit I was going through when I was like 20 and newly single after a bad breakup. And I was just spinning the fucking stars, Listen to the stars. I had 2 female roommates at the time, and they were going through breakups and boyfriends, and the stars was just fucking cranked in that fucking apartment, blaring at different parts of the song, coming out of 3 rooms because of the angst and the sadness of being 20, 21, and just not knowing how you're going to fucking make it. What the fuck is going to come around the corner? You know what I mean? So I listened to one of those songs and I couldn't hear really a difference. I couldn't really hear. Maybe it's a little bit, I don't know. Did I get it off of LimeWire already? Was it like a shitty rip as it was? You know, I definitely got a few songs in there with the. If you used to download off of LimeWire when you were a kid, you know that fucking junky mix that you would get on a track. There's definitely some floating on there. But overall, I don't really listen to that music, so I'm not going to transfer 45 gigs to my new computers. That is coming. I'm excited. Paid for some software for it, so I'm not fucking around with pirated stuff. And I don't feel good about it, but hey, it's a tax write-off. I get back the HST. You know, it's a business expense. It's a capital business expense. Big news in Toronto last night. You know, it's been about almost a full day. But the big mayor, John Tory, has resigned. He had an affair with an ex-staffer during the pandemic when he had that fucking goofy, long, gross hair, gross-looking senior citizen is what he is. He's fucking gross. He's a Rogers puppet. He said he was going to go 3 terms, and then he did. And he must have known. He must have known this shit was going to come. He probably wanted it to leak at the right time before he wanted to get all his fucking people positioned for Dougie. And now, there's no fucking use for John Tory. He doesn't need to be there. He'll go back. He'll take his paychecks from Rogers, and he's done. John Tory's political career's done. He ain't gonna be the leader of the PCs again. He ain't gonna be running for premier. You know, he's almost 70. He's done. He's fucking done. He'll get a comfy paycheck from Rogers, and that's it. He's a fucking multi-millionaire. He is going to be out of the public eye. We will not see that fucking nerd again. And good luck, Toronto. You're not my city anymore. You ain't my city. You're just my friend. You're just my friend that I like to see time to time. And you're a mess. You're a fucking mess. You're a nasty fucking mess. And the older you get, the clearer the lines become on the distortion of that city. I hope you get somebody that starts to put it in the right way. Okay? Last thing of the opening turd. I'm only talking about one health news today, so we won't rattle on too long with the other stuff. Apparently there's a Michael Jackson biopic coming out. Biopic, however you want to fucking call it. Now, how are they going to cover that? How are they going to cover that whole story? Is it going to be just about surviving the abuse of his dad and the Jackson 5 and becoming a soloist? What are they going to do? Are they going to hint to his issues? Are they going to show it? Are we going to have to see that? Fuck, man, it sucks. The whole Michael Jackson thing sucks because he's a fantastic genius of a musician, and it's just fucking ruined. And let's not forget, if he was still around today, if he was here through this pandemic, he would be making bank. If all these like allegations and documentaries didn't come out about what the true horror of that man really was, he would be making bank on masks. Let's not forget. He might have done the fucking moonwalk, but he was a mask connoisseur. He was one of the first weirdos who wasn't afraid to go into public as the most famous person on this planet with a surgical mask on. He would have been... I mean, the estate might be making money. Do you think the estate has been selling that? You go to michaeljackson.com. You go to, thriller.ca. You think they got fucking masks up there on the merch site? He would have been selling boxes of that shit. 100%. Last thing I'll say about Michael Jackson, and I don't know why I think about this a lot, but when he died, I remember there was some award show, and everybody was amped up from it, right? It didn't matter. But the the black community was very amped up because he kind of died a white man. I mean, he did. And I remember Jamie Foxx being on stage in an award show being like, he was ours first. He's like, hey, he might be white now, but he was ours. He was ours first. Look, Jamie, I'm sure you're not still saying stuff like that about Michael Jackson. He was yours first. I'm sure you just ignore the topic altogether, but you can have him. Okay? We didn't make him that way. He had a serious skin condition and he started to bleach and do plastic surgery and all this shit. And I don't think that Jamie Foxx is gonna be pounding his chest for Michael these days. You know what I'm saying?
Fitness update.
All right, we're going to do the fitness update first. We're going to get to that, and then we're going to get to the birthdays, and then we're going to get to the health news, okay? And then we're just going to kind of move around like that. We're just going to kind of move around a little bit like that because I'm a faster now. I'm an intermittent faster, and I love it. Look, it's been a challenging 3 weeks. The first week eased me into it. You start real low on the fasting. It's only like 14 hours, and then it winds its way up and you end up getting to 16 hours. In the second week, that's when it gets a little more serious. That's when it gets up to 17 hours. And it kind of went up like a pyramid. So it started low, and by midweek, you were at 18 hours. And then it went back down. By the end of the week, you were back down to 15 hours. And then in the third week, it just kind of went up like a steep incline to get to 18. 16 for 3, 17 2, and then 18 for the final 2. And I'll tell you, those last two 18, the 18s are tough. You would think that 2 extra hours wouldn't be so bad, but I was limping to the finish line with those 18s on the last week. But I will tell you, I've lost weight. I've lost about 7.5 pounds over the 3 weeks, which is just at the top of a healthy amount. You don't want to lose much more than that. There was some drastic weight loss after the first week. I was a bit worried. And then the second week, I kind of gained a bit of weight back, which I was like, okay. And then the third week, it went back down again. So it did average about 2 pounds per week, which is good. A little bit more, maybe like 2.1, 2.2 pounds. And a big part of it is just me being more conscious about what I'm eating. And I really like I was at my sister's place yesterday. I was taking a bit of a cheat day. Today's a Joker day for me. I'm taking the day off of the fasting. I ate late. They made some snacks, so we ate even more late, probably at around 11 p.m. I haven't eaten past 8 p.m. or 8:30, one or two of those days, 8:30, but 8, 7, 6 p.m. is when I've had my last bit of meal. And I haven't had any heartburn or anything like that. And last night, ate late, heartburn at 7 in the morning, had to take Pepto-Bismol. I just feel so much better. It's just some days I do feel a bit weak. If I don't, I like the 8-hour window. I like the 16-hour fast, 8-hour window to eat. I get my vitamins in. I get my food in. I haven't been fully as healthy as I would like during those windows. Sometimes not getting enough. But overall, feeling a lot better, feeling inflammation kind of leave my body a bit. I'm not getting this pain in my leg anymore that it was a nerve pain. Seemed to really help with that. I'm feeling better. Pants are a little bit looser, and I'm just going to keep going with it. And I'm going to keep using this app because I paid for 3 months. Right now, I'm just doing a 16/8 standard. But it's not a problem for me to go longer the next day. It's harder for me to get my last meal in by like 6 or 7. 8 o'clock is pretty decent for me. I do that, then you might feel a bit hungry around 10 or 11. You drink some water, you ignore it. The sleep takes it all away. You wake up, I have some black coffee. You're allowed to have that. And I feel fine. And I can at the 16 mark, I might go, I'm going to go another hour. I'll do 17. And that's how I kind of want to do it. And by not being afraid to mess up or to take a day off in the week, I just think Been reading a lot about it. There isn't a ton of science behind it, but they are doing a lot more studies on it. And it seems like if you meet the criteria to be able to do it, it has a lot of health benefits. Your body does a lot of stuff that's good for you when it's not focused on digestion. And we just don't need to eat all the time. You don't need to. And you start to get used to the hunger pangs. You start to just not get that hungry all the time anymore. And I haven't been really counting calories, but I'm just trying to be conscious about what I'm eating. So overall, yeah, I think intermittent fasting might be something I'm gonna hang on to as a lifestyle choice. I'm gonna veer from it sometimes, but overall, I'm gonna try to stick with it, and we'll see. We'll see. We'll check in, and we'll see. I'm gonna keep doing my weekly weigh-ins, and we'll see. We'll see if I have a feeling I haven't lost 2 pounds again this week. I think I might not have lost anything. I don't know. I did drink some beers and shit last night, so I haven't been drinking alcohol. That's the other thing too, so all this shit adds up. And if you're a certain weight, you got to bring in a certain amount of calories just to maintain that weight. If you don't, you just start to lose weight. So you immediately run a deficit. So we're going to keep an eye on it, but I'm doing everything safe. I know the risks. I'm not trying to start an eating disorder here. I'm just trying to come to a better understanding with what my body needs and how I want to nurture it. And one thing that should be nurtured is special people on their birthday. Okay, we got some fucking heavy hitters today. I swear I've recorded on this day last year, maybe a year before, I don't know, but it's Jennifer Aniston's birthday. Happy birthday, Jen. She's 54. Jen's 54. She's gonna be 70 in 15 years, man. That's gonna be fucking weird. Big Burt Reynolds. He's dead. He died in 2018. Big Burt. But he would have been, I don't know, 87? Something like that. Damian Lewis. You know him from Band of Brothers. You know him from Homeland. You know him from the hit movie Dreamcatcher. Damian Lewis. He's 52. That seems about right. Terrible British accent. Stick with the American. You are no longer British, sir. Matthew Lawrence, the Lawrence brothers, they don't talk like that. They don't talk like that. Matthew Lawrence, he's 43. I think he was on Boy Meets World. Joey Lawrence was his brother from Blossom. Was Matthew Lawrence the kid in Mrs. Doubtfire? Oh my God, yeah, I think he was. He was, yep. So he's 43. Didn't realize he was that much older than me. He's got a bit here and there. And Kelly Slater, he's 51. You know him, you love him. He did a couple seasons on Baywatch in the mid-90s there. And I think he dated Pamela. I was watching that Pamela doc, and I think she was with him just before she got with Tommy. Kelly Rowland is 42, Destiny's Child. You know her, you love her. Brandy. Biggity Brandy is 44. Her last name is Norwood. Wow, she's only 44. I would have pinned her as a bit older. And, I'll just give you some... it was this day in 1994. I was 10 years... I was 9 years old. My Girl 2 came out. We were still reeling from the death of Macaulay Culkin in the first one. The bees. Those fucking bees. Got them. I guess another thing that's worth talking about is Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Great job. I used to love that show. premiered in 2007 on this day. And it was kind of the end of the really weird comedy that everybody was into for a bit. I was super into it after college. I wanted to do the weird stuff. And this show was kind of really the end of this kind of really off the wall shit, you know? That was it. You had a good 10 years of the weird shit, and then people didn't know what the fuck to do with it. They didn't know what the fuck to do with it. All right, let's get to some health news.
Health news. News that is health related.
Okay, we're going to talk about one thing only. This is a big thing that happened in Canada over the last month. We're going to talk about the new drinking guidelines. Now, I ain't sniffing that coke. I ain't popping them pills. Sometimes I smoke some marijuana. Sometimes I take some edibles. And that's about it for me. And that's pretty much been it for me my whole life. I didn't even get into edibles until my mid-30s. Late 30s even. A couple years ago. So, back in the day, before they announced the new guidelines, men were allowed to have 15 drinks a week, 0 to 3 per day. Women, 2 drinks a day, 10 drinks a week. Those were the old guidelines. And let me tell you, it's miserable up here being Canadian. If you're my American listeners, we drink stronger beer, and it's cold, and our bones ache, and people need their fucking booze. And there's this hero that got interviewed outside of a liquor store, and he's going to tell you how the majority of drinking Canadians feel about these guidelines, which is now, for both sexes, 2 drinks a week.
What did you buy today?
I bought 6 Busch Light, 6 Bud Light, and I love them, tall boys.
Tall boys? How much would you drink a day?
Well, what day? Regular day, I don't know, maybe a couple beers, depends. Weekends, maybe, 5 beer. 2 drinks a week.
What do you think of that?
Well, that's just not feasible, not in this country. Well, come on, man, 2 drinks a week, what's that going to do for you? I mean, that doesn't even get you through a day. A reasonable amount, if you're at home, you should be able to have like 4 beer. Mm-hmm. That's just 2 more. I mean, I'll have 6. But 4 is a fair number. But there shouldn't even be guidelines anyway. Why are you going to tell me how much I can drink at home?
Well, I guess the idea is, would you be concerned that you're at a higher health risk if you're drinking too much?
No. That's the main point here is, why are they telling me what I can drink at home? What, can I have 2 liters of pop? Can I have 2 liters of pop? Well, what's more healthy? 4 beers or 2 liters of Coca-Cola? Do the math.
So I'm guessing that this information about the new guidelines isn't going to change your life.
It's heartbreaking, and I can't even believe it. Rock and roll!
It's heartbreaking, and I can't even believe it. Oh, sir. Look, I love you. I totally get what you're saying. Look, this isn't going to be a law. This isn't going to be something like an Ikikata here where he's like, is it Trudeau's going to be telling us we got to get a vaccine and drink 2 beers? And they're just saying you could drink as much as you want. Drink fucking, don't drive, drink yourself to fucking death. But they're just saying that you're going to have some health problems. They're saying that alcohol is bad, which is a big thing because the booze industry is very good to the government. But the hospitals and the terrible health care we have, not good. Not good for the government. Costs them a lot of money to do those surgeries, to do the chemo, to do all that shit. But I agree, two drinks a week is pretty light. But it's really just there to tell you that drinking's not good for you. I think we think that moderation is fine. And I think moderation is fine to a point. But 3 drinks, I thought if you had 3 drinks a day, you were a functional alcoholic. I've always thought that. If you drink 3 drinks a day, every day, never miss a day, you're a functional alcoholic. That's what I always thought. But this guy, and I'm like, what do you want me to drink? Pop? You want me to drink 2 liters of pop? No, I don't think they're saying to do that either. They're not saying to drink pop. They want you to drink water, man. Drink fucking water. But and I went to the liquor store. I went to the beer store yesterday, and it ain't a ghost town in there. The guidelines, they ain't doing shit. But it is something that I'm having less interest with. And I think with this fast, because it told me not to drink during it, I've kind of been like, maybe I just need 2 drinks a week. Every once in a while, you go and meet up with a family member, and you drink their 3% beers all night. But I don't think I don't fucking need it. So anyway, those are the new guidelines. 2 drinks a week in Canada. And we'll see how that goes. Because time will tell if people are like, sticking to it. Because if you're a fucking dude like this, he ain't fucking sticking to nothing, bro. All right, let's finish this pod off. We've got a couple of dumb things to get through. We're going to get another episode in by the end of February. I guarantee you that. End of February, we will be coming in with new one. Maybe it'll be on the new computer. Maybe I'll have that plugged into the fucking monitor, you know? Hopefully, that's when it says it's supposed to come. Oh, God, that is such a harrowing amount of money. I'm not going to tell you. Get fucked. But it was a lot. You know, I've been thinking a lot about The King, thinking a lot about Elvis lately, because I watched that Austin Butler movie, and it's not great. He does a good job. I'll give him that. It's hilarious that Tom Hanks, like, he's pretty ridiculous in it. He's wearing hilarious prosthetics. And he was nominated for a bunch of Razzies for it because of his weird Austrian dialect. I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do. He didn't quite hit it, but it's Tom Hanks. How can you not like watching him try to attempt anything? But you know, The King, you know, like Lisa Marie Presley died, and it seems like all this shit around the movie kind of got her back in on those opioids. Looks like looks like that fucking oxy got her. It got her. Fucking all, you know, she was a hermit for 2 years of the pandemic, and then she's got to come out and she must have been so sick of all the Elvis shit. This fucking shadow for dad. She's like every day is a memorial for her. Every day. Be tough. Be tough to be constantly reminded about someone in your life that you lost. Every day. Every day. And they just want a piece of it. And they think that they have more than they do, and it would be fucked up. No wonder she got all fucked up on shit. Don't blame her. Don't blame her. But, you know, I'm thinking about The King because one of my biggest fears is dying on the toilet. It's one of my biggest fears in life. Do not get me on the exercise bike, you know, walking, exercise. I don't mind if I die that way. Tragically, I don't know. You know, I don't want it, but on a toilet, trying to push it out, I don't want to be found like that. And apparently, I read that the King didn't shit for like 4 months. The King, Elvis Presley, in the late 70s, was constipated for 4 months. And that's why he was on that toilet pushing for his life. That makes me feel a lot better because I might have been constipated like a 2-dayer once here and there, but 4 months. Like I just bit my tongue thinking of it. You heard it. You heard that weird lisp. Just bit my fucking tongue. Damn, man. Some other shit I want to talk about is there's a hitchhiker doc on Netflix, and it just like makes you realize how fast shit goes now. I didn't even realize that it's been 10 years since this fucking video of this hitchhiker who used a hatchet on some guy that like pinned another guy with his car or something, and he grabbed a woman, was bare. This hitchhiker kid, who also I didn't know was Canadian. You find that out in the doc. He became like this big YouTube sensation, right? Him telling the story of using the hatchet. Smash, smash, smash. It's fucked, man. It's not a great doc, but you just, because I also didn't know he's in jail. I didn't know that he killed somebody. And he's been in jail for like 10 years. And he's never getting out. He had these 3 months from that video to being arrested. His life was just insane. And he's from fucking Edmonton. Oh my God. I can't believe that was 10 years ago. I just can't believe. I vividly remember it. I remember it becoming a big thing in the February of 2013 or something like that. It was a big year for me. You got some big commercials that year. And this fucking guy is just rotting away in a fucking New Jersey prison now. It's you got to watch it. You got to watch it just to see how fucked up, and how it really makes you think of like shows like Jimmy Kimmel, how they're just using people that are fucked up to get content, you know? Speaking of fucked up, the last thing I'll talk about is Britney Spears. Look, if you haven't been around addiction in your life, if you haven't had a parent who's struggled with addiction, if you haven't seen that shit and hid from it in your room and shit, like you just know when someone's going through that shit. And I knew with all these videos and shit that Britney was putting out, and everyone's coming to her defense, that she's in the conservatorship and all that. Oh God, we need to free Britney and all this stuff. And I get that, and I think she does deserve to be free. I think she can burn, she can crash however she wants. She's a grown ass woman. She ain't a 78-year-old with dementia. So yeah, no, there should be no conservatorship. But make no mistake, Britney Spears is fucked up. I can see it because I know it. I fucking know it. And now, shit's come out that she's on drugs and friends want to plan an intervention and all this shit. She's fucked. Like, you think it's just the conservatorship that did that? No, like, Hollywood fucked her up. Being a star fucked her up. She's just a kid from poor old outskirts of fucking Louisiana. She lost something in those first 10 years of her career. And you can see it's not there. It ain't there. And I'm going to say right now, she doesn't get the help that she needs. If she doesn't get that help, you ain't going to see Britney Spears in her 50s. You ain't. All right, guys, that's it for me. That's it. We got it in 92. God damn. I can't wait to be in triple dig. It's coming. Probably in the summer. But I'll see you in a couple of weeks, end of February. And then it's fucking March and there's 20 days left of winter. Jesus Christ. Thanks for listening. Subscribe. Rate. Like on my WordPress. Eat a candy apple today if you can.